The chronic disease of addiction, including the opioid crisis, is one of the biggest challenges facing our nation. The lethality and highly addictive nature of opioids has brought a focus on the disease of addiction, which frankly is long overdue. According to the CDC, between 1999 and 2016, more than 350,000 people died in the US from overdoses related to opioids. I don't pretend to be an expert on the disease of addiction, but I do have lived experience. I've been in recovery from alcohol addiction for over 16 years. I spent 15 of those years in silence, keeping my recovery in the closet like a shameful secret. Sadly, only 1 in 10 people who need treatment for addiction actually seek treatment. I know because I was one of those statistics. I knew for years that I needed help, but I didn't seek it because I was ashamed. For people with the disease of addiction, 3 words have deprived them of medical treatment, empathy, and compassion for decades, or more like centuries. And those 3 words are shame, stigma, and discrimination. My journey with addiction started when I was in high school in North Dakota when I first started drinking. I knew as a teenager that I didn't drink like others. I experienced my first blackout when I was in high school. I struggled with alcohol-related issues and episodes over the next 20 years of my life. I chose to live and work in cultures with excessive drinking. I had no desire to attend events without alcohol, and I could not imagine my life without alcohol. While constantly struggling with my addiction, my career progressed, and I had forward movement in my life, but I could never reach my full potential with my addiction holding me back. There came a time when I knew I needed to stop drinking, but addiction's a powerful disease, and it kept me drinking for many years. I could achieve any goal I set for myself, but I could not stop drinking, even though I experienced many baffling, defeating, and demoralizing drunk episodes. I'd stop drinking for 3 months, and then I'd start again. I'd stop for a year, and then I'd start again. And this cycle continued over a period of 8 years. I'm so grateful that my higher power kept asking me to pull on my boots and try again. I finally became willing to do whatever it would take to stay sober. And when I became completely willing, that's when the miracle happened for me and I started staying sober. I found a program that's built on a foundation of gratitude, helping others, and a higher power, and it saved my life. I'll forever be grateful to this program and its people for embracing me and helping me find recovery. My openness about my recovery has started what I hope will be a lifetime of advocacy, speaking out for those who have been misrepresented and misunderstood, and creating opportunities for people, families, and communities devastated by this disease. As First Lady, it's my ultimate mission to end the shame and stigma of the disease of addiction. Stigma, which is defined as the mark of disgrace, is a persistent barrier to effectively confronting addiction and finding recovery. Stigma and the accompanying discrimination affects the emotional well-being of those with the disease of addiction. People internalize that stigma, and they fear that they will be judged negatively. Internalized stigma can lead to feelings of shame, isolation, and despair, all of which prevent people from talking about their disease and reaching out for help. With addiction, stigma puts up walls instead of building bridges. It is socially constructed, based in fear, and is often accompanied by a lack of accurate information. I met the parents of a teenage boy who died of an opioid overdose in his car in a high school parking lot. They were devastated by their son's needless death. However, there was no outpouring of community support. like there would be for a teenager who died of cancer or of a car accident. Shame and stigma keep people away. I believe addiction needs to be embraced like any other chronic, progressively fatal disease before real changes can be made in our communities and before the shame and stigma can be eliminated. My niece was an all-state hockey goalie in high school. Because of a hand injury in her early teens, she was given prescription pain medicine. She had several more injuries throughout her high school hockey career and was prescribed pain medicine for all. Unbeknownst to me and her family, she became addicted to opioids. She's now 23 and in recovery from her opioid addiction. It's hard for people to accept the concept that addiction is a disease. I know how hard it is because I didn't believe it myself. I thought I could do the right thing. I thought I could make the right choices. But after relapsing for 8 years and literally thinking that I must be insane, I now understand. No one would choose that life.